Good morning, everybody. Today I would like to discuss on speech. Right? So speech, where we'll be discussing on direct and indirect speech, where we'll be converting the direct speech into indirect speech. Right? So this is also called reported speech. Right? So generally, we can report, we can report what a person, what a person says in two ways. Right? For example, For example, I said we can report what a person says in two ways. For example, Mohan said, I want to I want to become a doctor. Right? Mohan said, I want to become a doctor. The other one, the other sentence, Mohan said that that he wanted he wanted to become a doctor. Right? So these are the two sentences we have. Now, as per the statement given by me, that we can report what a person says in two ways. These are two ways which you can convey your information. Right? The first sentence, Mohan said, "I want to become a doctor." The second one, Mohan said that he wanted to become a doctor. But here, both the sentences mean the same. The meaning of these two sentences is the same, right? In the first sentence, first sentence, right? Like in the first sentence, the first sentence, we quoted, we quoted the original words, original words of the speaker. Right? With the speaker here, the original words of the speaker is nothing but none other than Mohan. Right? The first sentence, we quoted the original words of the speaker. Right? So the original words, how can we say that we have used the original words of the speaker in the first sentence? So the words which are kept in the quotation marks are the original words. Generally, when we state the original words of the speaker, so those words are placed in between the quotes, right? So that imply that these are the original words of the speaker, right? Since we quoted the original words of the speaker, right, in the first sentence, it is called as direct speech. It is called direct speech as we quoted the exact words of the speaker, right? And in the second sentence, I'm going to clear this, right? In the second sentence, in the second sentence, right, we reported, right, we reported what Mohan said what Mohan said without using without using the original words the original words the original words of the speaker. So in the second sentence, we quoted, right? We reported what Mohan said without using the original words of the speaker, right? But the meaning has not changed. The meaning has not changed, right? So here we reported what Mohan said without using the original words, right? Without using the original words. This is not required also for us here, right? Without using original words. Here, by giving the substance of his speech, by giving the substance of his speech. So this can be called, right, indirect. Since we have not used the original words of the speaker here, right, we just reported what Mohan said, right? So this is called indirect speech. We are just reporting what Mohan said without using the original words, right? 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 By giving the substance of his speech. So that's why it is called indirect speech. We are just reporting in the second sentence, right? Both the sentences mean the same here. The first sentence, we quoted the original words of the speaker. In the second sentence, we reported, we reported what Mohan said, but we reported it without using the original words of the speaker. The reason why it is called the indirect speech, right? So here, when we converted in the example, when the example has been given here, Mohan said, "I want to become a doctor." The second one, indirect speech, that direct speech is converted into indirect speech. That is, Mohan said that he wanted to become a doctor, right? Some changes have taken place when we converted the direct into the indirect speech, right? Please note down, note the changes that have occurred when we converted the direct speech into indirect speech, right? What is the first change that occurred when we converted direct into indirect speech? The first one is that the comma after said, the comma after said, right? The comma after said and the quotation marks, the quotation marks, right? Marks have been removed. That's the first change that has occurred when we converted the direct speech into indirect speech, right? The first change that you need to notice that the comma after set and the quotation marks have been removed when we converted direct into indirect speech, right? Now let us look at the second change that has taken place when we converted, right? The conjunction, the second one, the conjunction that has been used, the conjunction that has been used. That's the second change which has taken place. We need to notice that, right? The third change that we can observe or notice when we converted direct into index space is that the pronoun, the pronoun I is changed into he, right? That's the third observation, right? The third change that you need to notice, right? Which has taken place at the time of conversion of direct into this page, right? And the last change which one needs to notice at the time of conversion, right? That is the verb, the verb want, right, is changed into wanted, changed into wanted. Right? These are the changes which have taken place at the time of converting direct speech into indirect speech. The example which has been given at the beginning, that's Mohan said, I want to become a doctor. Mohan said that he wanted to become doctor. When we converted direct into indirect speech, these are the changes that have occurred, and these are the things we need to notice carefully. Mainly, these are the changes which take place at the time of conversion of direct into indirect speech. Right? This is very important to be noted. This point, right? Then, so before changes to be checked, the most important thing is that here I just discussed the changes that have occurred after converting the direct into indirect speech. Now, the most important thing is that things to be checked, things to be checked before before changing, that is before changing the direct speech into indirect speech, right? You need to notice certain things before you convert the direct speech into the speech, right? The first one, the first thing you need to check before converting direct into the speech, that who speaks to whom, who speaks to whom. That's the first one you need to check before converting the direct into indirect speech. And the second one, the second point that you need to notice or check before conversion is that the reporting verb, the reporting verb, and its a tense. The reporting verb and its a tense. And the third one you need to check before converting the direct into indirect speech is that the tense in which the tense in which the direct speech, right, is made. So these are the three things you need to check before changing the direct speech into indirect speech, before changing or converting the direct speech into indirect speech, right? This is what you need to observe, right? So at the time of the most important thing is that at the time of changing, at the time of conversion, at the time of conversion of a direct into indirect speech, right? Some words change their form. Some words change their form, right? That you have to observe carefully. I'm giving the list here, the list of some of the words. I'm giving only few words which change at the time of conversion, right? Some words change their form, right? Direct and indirect. Few words I would like to give you, I would like to list out a few words which change, right? One is, right, some words. I'm giving the list here. Is, are, These two words, is and am, becomes was. The second one, are, the word are, that is the helping verb are, becomes were when you convert at the time of conversion of a direct speech into the speech, right? Similarly, the auxiliary verbs has and have, right? These two become had at the time of a conversion, right? Then shall I clear these words which I have written? Right, I'm moving on to the fresh page, right? Then, then the model auxiliary can becomes could, can becomes could, shall becomes should, shall becomes should at the time of conversion of direct speech into indirect speech, will becomes would, may becomes might, may becomes might, right? These are related to the helping verbs, auxiliary verbs, and the modal auxiliaries, right? Then the adverbs like this becomes that. I'm giving list of few words which are likely to change. Mainly, these are the words we will be using in our regular communication, right? These becomes those. These becomes those. Now becomes then. This is very important. The list which I'm giving is very, very important at the time of conversion, right? Thus becomes so. The word thus becomes so, right? Then today, the word today becomes when you are talking about the specific time here, definite time. Today becomes that day, that day. This is very important. You need to note, make note of the changes that are taking place, right? I would like to clear this page and move on to the other words, right? And then the word, the definite time that you use tomorrow becomes, tomorrow becomes next day, next day. Then yesterday becomes the previous day. The previous day. Similarly, last night becomes the previous night. So this is not only last night becomes the previous day. This is not only applicable only for last night. When you can say last week, you can say when you come across last week at the time of conversion direct into indirect speech, you can say the previous week. When you come across last month, you can say you can convert that into the previous month. Last year should be converted into the previous year, and so on, right? For those words, it can be used, right? Then the other word ago becomes before, right? Before, and come becomes go. In some cases, sometimes this can be used. For example, I would like to give you an example using come, right? Because come becomes go sometimes, right? So rarely you come across an example on this using come and go, right? He said to Ram, he said to Ram, you may come with me, you may come, you may come with me tomorrow. So these are the original words. So we are keeping them in quotes. He said it to Ram, you may come with me tomorrow. So using come, I am giving you an example, right? So if such kind of words are used, how to convert them while converting the direct speech into indirect speech, right? So this is direct speech, and you are converting direct speech into indirect speech, right? Using the word come here, just to give you an example, right? He told Ram, we're converting direct into indirect speech now. He he told Ram that he told Ram that he might he might may becomes might, right? Those are the changes that take place, right? You have to be very careful. He might go with him. He might go with him, right? The next day becomes the next day becomes next day with him. The next day, tomorrow becomes next day, the next day. So this is the conversion. This is the conversion of direct speech into indirect speech, right? See, the word come becomes go here, right? The word may becomes might, right? Tomorrow becomes the next day, right? So these are the things you need to observe carefully. You need to observe very carefully, right? So here there are certain things we would like to discuss. One example here, some most important, most important areas where you need to concentrate on. One is using the interrogative sentences. Be careful, the rule here is very important. Interrogative sentences. When you are converting interrogative sentences into indirect speech, this is very conversion of interrogative sentences into indirect speech is very, very important, right? So the rule here is that, right, if the question starts with a interrogative word, right, if the question starts with a interrogative word, I'm giving the rule here. If the question, right, starts with interrogative word. What are interrogative words? Who, when, why, how, where, right? Those are interrogative, right? So what happens when the question starts with interrogative word? What should be used here? The same word, right? So the same word comes in comes in indirect speech. Same word comes in indirect speech, right? So the other point is that if the question starts with a non-interrogative word, if the question starts with a non-interrogative word, the interrogative words are when, where, which, how, right, and so on. So if the question starts with a non-interrogative word, right? So in indirect speech, right, if or whether can be used. If or whether can be used can be used in indirect speech. In indirect speech, right? I'll give you example based on these two. This is very important, right? For example, For example, the man asked the girl, the man asked the girl, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Right? The man asked the girl, why are you crying? Here, the interrogative sentence begin the interrogative sentence begins with right the question begins with the interrogative word, right? The question begins with the interrogative word. So when the question begins with interrogative word, so the same occurs in indirect speech when you are converting direct into indirect speech, right? So this can be converted as the man the man enquired the girl enquired the girl. Since the question starts with interrogative word, so in indirect speech also it remains the same. It remains the same. Why she was why she was crying. So why she was crying, right? Similarly, other example with a non-interrogative word. With a non-interrogative word, let us see, right? The second example related to the rule which I discussed, which I gave you, right? Did did you visit? Did you visit Agra last month? Right? Did you visit Agra last month? My friend asked me. My friend asked me. Right? Did you visit Agra last month? My friend asked me. Here, the question starts with a non-interrogative word. In the second example, first example, the question started with the interrogative word, but here, second example, the question starts with a non-interrogative word. So you need to be careful here, right? So while converting this, so this can be converted as my friend asked me, my friend asked me whether I had whether I had visited Agra, right? Whether I had visited Agra. So last month becomes the previous month, the previous month, the previous month, right? So here the question starts with a non-interrogative word. That's the reason why when the question starts with a non-interrogative word, we can use either if or whether. The seasonal weather has been used. My friend asked me whether I had visited. So here I used past perfect tense. I had visited. Whether I had visited, because the direct speech is in simple past. So if the direct speech is in simple past, when you convert that into direct speech, it should be converted into past perfect. If the direct speech is in simple present, then when you convert the direct into indirect speech, it will be converted into simple past. If the direct speech is in a simple past tense, while converting that into indirect speech, that is converted into past perfect tense, right? These tenses, the form of the tenses will change, right? From simple present to simple past to what can I say, past perfect, simple present to past perfect tense, right? Past perfect continuous, like that. They take changes, right? I'll give you the table for the tenses also, right? Later, right? As the changes that take place in the form of the tenses, right? Right. Thank you.